Hey everyone, Sarah Picaro. Today's video is going to be about leaving an abusive partner. What can happen when you're leaving the abusive partner and kind of the mindset, mind frame that you go into after having been with one. So I'm going to share an article that I found on leaving an abusive partner. Oh, here we go. Okay. The number of times that it takes on average, and gosh, this used to be me in the past, and everyone that I work with who is coming out of and ready to take a deep dive in the pool of doing the inner work to heal after having been in an abusive relationship, on average, it takes 7 attempts to leave an abusive partner. And this is from, it's called Local Love. Uh, they say that on average, it takes 7 attempts to leave an abusive partner. My average was way more than 7. It felt more like 700 than 7. But most people who are in an abusive relationship probably feel like me. I'm just guessing, but there is an average. So there's people who feel less and people who feel more. I think I tipped it onto the higher end. Uh, Try and leave multiple times and then they end up going back. And everyone that I connect with, I work with, identifies that it's this inner programming that they have and a lack that they have. They don't believe that they're good enough. They don't believe that they're worthy enough. They don't believe that what they want is actually out there, that they want a healthy, loving partner, someone they're really connected with. And they know, right? It's illogical to expect that any relationship is going to be perfect or without flaws, but they have fears, are holding on to fears, the fear of being alone forever, the fear of not making it on their own, maybe financial fears. What am I going to do financially? How am I going to make it? Who's going to provide? And feel stuck. And that's the number one thing that every person, myself included in the past, feels is you just feel stuck in this space, in this negative, heavy, draining energy, and it can impact you physically as well. So many people that I connect with and work with, they have diseases, dis-ease in the body. It's not regulated, it's not balanced, and it's presenting. Something that you're ignoring emotionally, mentally, spiritually can only be ignored for so long. And then your body will create and give you something that it can't ignore. I recently worked with a client who had Hashimoto's, and she said, Sarah, I know that it's from all the stress that I was under in that relationship, and also started to notice my own patterns. The jobs that I had were very stressful jobs that my boss was kind of like my partner. And so I know that there was something in me internally that was manifesting and getting these external relationships that were just completely void of boundaries. And I know that that's why I feel so stuck today. So it is difficult to get out. But once you're out, that is the most important time to stop, not jump into another relationship. And it may take you 700 times before you actually and finally leave, before something clicks and you say, you know what, this is it. I am done. And then when you're out, you actually have the mental bandwidth and the mental space to begin working on yourself. So instead of beating yourself up that you should have left sooner, you wasted all this time and wasted all these years and wasted your best years. I hear that a lot too. Instead of doing that, what would it be like if you were to give yourself exactly what you needed? A reprogramming, rewiring, and updating of your mind, of releasing and letting go of all the baggage, all the worry, all the anxiety that you've been carrying. Whose baggage is that anyway? There's probably a part of you that realizes and knows and connects with, well, it's not mine. I have been carrying it around though. Maybe it was my parents, maybe it was my mom's, my dad's, maybe it was the siblings, maybe it was someone else from my past, maybe it was my last partner or this narcissistic relationship. I've been carrying around all this baggage, and you realize you can't get to where you want to be in life and can't live the life that you desire and deserve to live if you're doing that. But there's something inside of you that has you still do that. So doing the inner work to heal, that's what I'm talking about. Releasing and letting go of those things that you've been carrying from your past into your present that are heavy, that are not allowing you to get to where you want to be today, regardless of if it took you 7 times before you finally left. Or if you're more like me and you're on the other end, it took you 700 times to finally leave and not let that person back into your life. And then you realize, oh my gosh, it's me. I allowed that. And if you're in that space of being done with the victim mentality and you look back in your past in your journals and you're like, oh, like I just felt like, wow, this person does these things to me. And if you're stuck in that space of this person has done all these things to me, instead of these things have been done for me, because that's where the mindset begins to shift and you can turn the pain that you experienced in the past into power, into passion, into purpose, only if there's a complete mindset shift, because that old mindset, victim mentality of being stuck in that and not feeling that you're worthy enough or deserving enough or good enough or pretty enough or successful enough or whatever it is enough will keep you stuck in that space. And many, many people find that they get out of the toxic relationship. Maybe it took them 7 times to leave. Maybe it took them 700 times to leave. And then find that the space that they're in is one of all of those things, that's devoid of putting yourself first, where it becomes impossible or feels impossible to set healthy boundaries. And that's the space you need to get out of. And that's the space where you begin to look in the mirror and really connect with yourself, heal your own inner unhealed wounds so that you can reprogram, reshift, rewire all of those thinkings, all of those actions, all of those habits, all of those behaviors. And you may find that you're in that space of, well, I know that I want this and I say that I want this, but your actions and your words are not matching. So no wonder if you're in that space, you feel inauthentic, you feel disingenuous, you feel stuck, because you are. If you're not doing the right work, and it's not just journaling or not just meditation. One client in particular said, I had so many people tell me, just go to yoga and you'll get into your Zen place. And she's like, I went to yoga and I was just pissed off. I was bored and pissed off. Well, that's advice. And for some people, that is really good advice. And sometimes it works. But it doesn't mean that it works for you. So if you're finding that things are not working for you, despite what you're trying, and your actions and your words are not matching, they're not aligning, and in everything you do, you feel fake or you feel afraid, and there's a part of you that's stuck in that old programming that you received, and you're still carrying the baggage and the anxiety and the worry and the shame and the blame, and you're frustrated and you're tired of being stuck in that space, then that's your sign. That is your sign that there is something different that needs to be done to get you to where you want to go, so that you can turn the pain that you have experienced in the past into passion, into pleasure, into purpose, and completely change the course of your life. Just because it has been on there for whatever length of time it has been on there for, does not mean that that's your destiny. Does not mean that, oh, well, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. There's so much that you can do about it. And when you use your mind and those resources that are inside of you to connect to that, everything shifts, everything changes. Your physical health begins to improve. Your mental health, this clarity, your emotional health, your emotional state. Suddenly, you really love enjoying setting boundaries. Suddenly, those things, those big scary things, that big B word, is fun. You actually get strength from it every time you set a boundary, every time you put yourself first. That's self-love, and you get strength from it. Instead of feeling weak because you can't set boundaries, you feel strong because you can. And that is when everything in your life shifts and transforms and changes. So it's really, really difficult and can feel like it takes forever to do at the conscious level, because consciously you're limited. So when you can tap into those inner resources, heal those inner unhealed wounds, then anything becomes possible. And what used to be scary now is funny. You can get to a space and a place where you look back on that and go, what was I so afraid of? Those weren't even my things anyway. And now that I've let them go and just let them be, and I'm not carrying them through my life anymore, everything has changed. I find that I'm happy, I'm laughing, I'm connected, I'm showing up genuinely, authentically. I'm no longer afraid. I'm no longer losing it and exploding and going off on people, especially the people that are closest to me. I find that my tribe is different because my vibe is different, and I'm attracting a different tribe and a different vibe, and everything is in the right place now for me. Those are the kind of thoughts and feelings that you begin to have when you do the inner work. So if you're ready to do the inner work to heal, please head on over to my website. I mean, I'm not just saying this, there are so many people who have shared their stories and their experiences of doing this together. If you could do it yourself, you would, because who wants to be in this place and stuck in this pain that you're in now? But there's a part of you that almost needs like a recipe guide to say, okay, well, this is how we do it. And to be there with you, not just go, oh, here you go. Have fun, do it, because maybe you're looking at the wrong recipe and maybe that's not the one that's for you. What would it be like to find the one that is for you and to get in there and make it take, make that happen, and then take that and have it show up and impact every area of your life in a happy, profound, calm, peaceful way so that you can show up as you without the fear from the pain and the past repeating itself in the future. That's no way to live. So when you're ready to no longer live that way, I would love to connect with you and see if we're a good fit to work together one-on-one. So you can find more information in the links in the description below this video, and then you can schedule a time for us to connect there. Thanks, guys. And again, do not beat yourself up anymore for however long it took you to leave. Like I said, I was more in 700, but so soon after making that final decision, everything changed.